All right, everyone get ready because today we are really going to dive into a movie that just throws you right into this crazy highway chase. It's Steven Spielberg's Duel.
Oh, yeah, Duel.
We've got articles and trivia and all that film analysis stuff ready to go.
Duel is so fascinating,
Yeah.
It's suspenseful, obviously thriller, but it's also like a character study.
Right.
And it's just such a great early Spielberg film.
It really shows his style.
It really does.
And it's not every day that you see like a TV movie
Right.
become like this cult classic, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, this is even before
Yeah.
like Jaws made him a household name.
This is him getting started.
Exactly. This was his proving ground.
So to speak.
Yeah, exactly. He honed his skills on a limited budget. But man, the talent.
Speaking of budget, this was not a big Hollywood production.
No, not at all.
Like, I read somewhere this was shot in less than 2 weeks.
A bit longer. It was 13 days.
Oh, okay.
But it was supposed to be only 10.
Oh, wow.
Can you imagine?
That's such a time crunch.
Oh, it would make even,
Yeah.
a seasoned director nervous.
Yeah.
But Spielberg, he used it to his advantage, yeah.
How so?
So instead of using storyboards, which is, pretty standard,
Right.
he took this huge sheet of paper and he mapped out the entire chase on it.
Whole thing.
Every turn, every close call, everything. Talk about thinking visually.
Wow. And it worked.
It really did.
The pacing is amazing. You're on the edge of your seat the entire time.
Yeah.
But before we get too far into the details, let's set the stage for those who maybe haven't seen it.
Okay, yeah.
So imagine you are driving down this desolate highway.
Oh, boy.
The sun is beating down on you,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, this massive beat-up truck comes roaring up behind you.
Driven by, let's just say, someone who's not having a good day.
Yeah, to put it mildly, and that's just the beginning.
Right.
What follows is this terrifying game of cat and mouse.
Oh, yeah.
With Dennis Weaver, he plays this mild-mannered salesman, David Mann.
Right.
And he's just trying to survive.
Right.
Trying to outmaneuver this basically road rage maniac.
It's a survival thriller, but on wheels.
On wheels. And here's what I think is really interesting. Spielberg keeps the truck driver a mystery.
Oh, yeah, totally.
We see, like, glimpses of his arms, maybe his boots.
Right.
Right.
But we never see his face.
Never.
And that is terrifying.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it could be anyone.
It could be anybody. That's what makes it so scary.
Right, you're not just afraid of this one guy, you're afraid of, like, everyone.
Exactly.
Very Hitchcock, don't you think?
Very Hitchcockian.
And speaking of Hitchcock, did you know Spielberg actually pitched Duel as, get this, a silent film?
He did. Can you imagine?
That's wild.
I know. He was like, the visuals alone can tell the story.
Wow, and the studio went for it.
Well, he had to fight for it.
I bet.
But yeah, they took a chance on him.
That's amazing. They also wanted him to show the truck driver's face.
They did. They really did.
Can you imagine?
I know, right? Like some, typical villain.
Right. But Spielberg knew better.
Oh, yeah.
He fought to keep him hidden. He understood, the power of suggestion, right?
Exactly.
Letting the audience use their own fear
to
fill in the blanks.
It's so much scarier that way.
So much scarier. And you can't forget about the truck itself, I mean.
The truck.
In 1955, Peterbilt 281.
Whoa.
Spielberg picked it out himself.
Really?
He did like a casting call.
With the truck?
For the truck.
Yeah.
He said he saw the split windshield as eyes.
Oh, wow.
And the hood, like this big snout.
It's like a monster.
Exactly. It wasn't just a truck. It was this monster on wheels.
He really knew how to pick them.
He really did.
But beyond even the visuals, the sound in this movie?
The sound is incredible.
Oh, it's amazing the way he uses sound or doesn't use it to just build up the suspense.
That roar of the engine, it's like this constant threat.
Yes. It's like a heartbeat, but like a mechanical, scary heartbeat.
Exactly. And then it's quiet.
Yeah.
Just the wind, maybe a clock ticking.
And you're just waiting.
You're on the edge of your seat.
For the other shoe to drop.
Exactly.
And talking about those really intense scenes, we have to talk about that phone booth scene.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So good.
So good. The close-ups on Dennis Weaver's face, you can hear the truck coming closer and closer.
You can practically feel it.
You can feel it.
And he did his own stunts for that scene, right?
He did, most of them.
Wow. He said he could feel the ground shake as the truck went by.
Talk about method acting.
Right. Spielberg really wanted those genuine reactions, though.
Oh, he did, because he knew the more real it felt,
yeah,
the the more invested the audience would be.
And it totally worked. You're right there with him, holding your breath the whole time.
Totally. Like you are in that car trying to escape.
Exactly.
You know, it's really something how Spielberg builds that tension.
Yeah.
With those quieter moments, too. It's not all
right.
chases and crashes. Sometimes it's the quiet that gets you.
Oh, for sure. Like that scene in the diner.
Oh, yeah.
He thinks he's safe for a second.
Right.
But you can tell he's just like on edge, looking at everyone like they could be the truck driver.
Totally. He's surrounded by people, but he's totally alone in that fear, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And Spielberg takes these normal places.
I know, right?
Like a diner, a gas station.
Which we've all been to.
Exactly. And he makes them feel scary.
He really does, yeah. It's like suddenly you don't know where to turn because danger could be anywhere.
And you're right there with man. You're feeling that paranoia.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You said it before about the simplicity of it all.
Yeah.
One man, one truck, one road.
It's like such a simple idea.
It is, but it's so effective.
But it's how he tells it, you know? It's like he's tapping into something primal.
Oh, totally. It's like primal fear, you know?
Yes. And you can really see those Jaws vibes coming through.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, that fear of the unknown, that's what gets you.
Exactly. Like that truck, it's almost like it represents something bigger, you know?
Right. It becomes this force of nature almost.
Exactly. You can't reason with it. You can't fight it.
No.
It is what it is. And the fact that we never actually see the driver just makes it scarier.
It's true. It's like our imaginations go wild. Right? In Jaws, those are the best parts.
Oh,
just a fin in the water.
And you're like, oh, no.
Exactly. What you don't see is always scarier.
And it's not just what you see, it's what you hear, too.
Oh, yeah, the sound design.
I read that he used the sound of the creature dying from that old movie, Creature from the Black Lagoon.
He did, isn't that wild?
Truck.
For the truck crashing, yeah. And then he used it again.
No way.
Yeah, in Jaws.
That's amazing.
It's like this audio signature, you know, he's connecting these monsters across different films.
He's playing with our expectations.
He is. It's brilliant, you know, how a sound can just, like, trigger that fear.
Speaking of triggering fear, did you know the studio wanted him to, like, blow up the truck at the end?
Are you serious? They wanted a big Hollywood explosion.
I know. Can you imagine?
I can't even picture it. It wouldn't have been the same.
It had to be that slow, agonizing fall into the canyon.
Exactly. It's like this force of nature finally giving in.
Okay, but before we get to that epic ending, we have to talk about those extra scenes he added for the theatrical release.
Oh, yeah, you're right. We do.
You mentioned it before. They add a lot to Man's character.
They really do. You see him at the beginning, just, you know, driving in L.A.
Right. Just another day.
Just a normal guy, stuck in traffic.
And then, bam, he's on this deserted highway.
And it just hits you harder, you know, because you've seen him in the real world.
Yeah, it makes that descent into madness even more jarring.
Oh, totally. It's like he's being pulled away from everything he knows.
Are there any other scenes that stand out to you?
Well, there's that scene with the school bus, right?
Oh, yeah. Talk about stressful.
I know. He's already freaking out about the truck.
Right. And then he has to help these kids.
Exactly. And, of course, the truck just shows up.
Of course. Like clockwork.
It's just brilliant how Spielberg can take these normal situations and just twist them. You know, you're always on edge.
You never know what's going to happen next.
Or where that truck's going to come from.
Or what it's going to do. It's terrifying. It's like that highway. It's not just a road anymore, you know? It's like its own character.
It really is, yeah. It's where the rules don't apply anymore.
And Man's out there all alone.
And he's got to deal with this truck, but also, like you were saying, his own issues, his own stuff.
It's like the truck is forcing him to face his problems.
Exactly, like a catalyst, right?
And this is where Spielberg, he like gets you to care about Man.
He does, yeah.
Even though he doesn't really say a whole lot in the film.
He doesn't. He's just trying to survive, but we get it.
Right. You understand his motivations, his flaws.
And that's what makes him relatable, you know?
He's just a normal guy.
He's an everyman.
Stuck in this crazy situation.
Yeah, exactly. We've all been there. Maybe not, you know?
Not with a murderous truck driver.
Right. Not exactly, but that feeling of frustration, you know, powerlessness.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's something we could all relate to.
Totally. It's like those moments where you feel like things are out of your control.
Yeah, like something bigger than you is in charge.
But man, he figures it out. He survives.
He does. He finds that strength inside himself.
Speaking of which, how does he finally get rid of that truck?
Okay, so Spielberg, he had this really specific idea for the ending.
I bet he did.
So picture this. Man's racing toward this canyon.
Oh.
The truck's right behind him.
This is it.
This is it, right? And then he just turns the car around.
What?
Yeah. He's facing the truck head on.
That's crazy.
I know, right? And he jams the gas pedal down.
With what?
With his briefcase.
Yeah.
Jams it down, jumps out of the car, dives for cover.
Whoa, talk about a Hail Mary.
I know, right? It's like his last chance.
So what happens? Does it work?
It does. The cars collide, huge explosion, truck goes flying over the cliff.
No way. That's how he does it.
That's how he does it. It's
Yeah.
such a Spielberg ending, you know?
It really is. And, man, is he okay?
He's okay. He's sitting on the edge of the cliff watching the truck burn.
He made it.
He made it. He's beat up, but he's alive.
Wow. What a way to end the movie.
It really is. He stared death in the face, and he came out on top.
It's like, yeah, you can survive anything.
Exactly. That's Duel for you.
It's more than just an action movie, though, right?
Oh, it's so much more. It makes you think about, like, fear
Yeah, definitely.
and technology and just, like, the will to live.
Well said. Spielberg really knocked it out of the park with this one.
He really did. Especially for a first feature film, it's incredible.
It's a classic for a reason.
Absolutely.
Well, on that note, I think we've reached the end of the road for this deep dive.
I guess so. We've unpacked it all.
We really did. Duel is something else, that's for sure.
It really is.
So, until next time, everybody, drive safe. And remember,
What's that?
you never know who's behind the wheel of that truck next to you.
That's right. You never know.
Until next time.